to give my complete and utter spoiler review of Luke Cage Season 2. Now, maybe Mark will have something to say on it, so maybe I'll come back to it and make it a spoiler discussion. But for now, this is my complete and utter spoiler review. So heads up, spoilers are coming. Spoilers are coming. Spoilers are coming. I might even put something in the video that like tell you that spoilers are coming. But this is completely spoilers. So watch my other review, my spoiler-free review, and go watch Luke Cage. I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8.5. Actually, you know what? When I'm watching it again before this, I'll probably give it the same score as the original because I think it did a good job of actually being a better balanced show than the original. But at the same time, the first half of the original Luke Cage was just so great and so perfect that it kind of that it just kind of dragged the rest of it along with it because it was so damn perfect. Which this one is just well balanced machine all the way through. It's like the difference between being good, between being okay at a bunch of things and being great at one thing. And that's kind of how I equate these two different seasons of Luke Cage. So I enjoyed Luke Cage season 2. I gave it an 8.5, and if you want to go check out my spoiler-free ideas in depth, please go check out my spoiler-free review. I did it like a week ago. So I'm going to get into spoilers, heavy spoiler territory. This is heavy spoiler territory. All right. I'll give you about like 5 seconds to dip out before I just dive head first into the spoilers. Okay. Let's talk about... There's so many spoilers. First of all, turns out Shades and Comanche were a lot closer than just friends in prison. Turns out they were lovers once. Also turns out that Mariah's daughter... Remember in season 1, if you watch season 1, how how it's pretty much, known that her Uncle Pete had been molesting her. He had been molesting her. He raped her. Turns out she got pregnant and had a kid from that kind of shit, and it's her daughter in the show. Yes, her daughter is a result of incest and rape. And for a while, and like in the beginning of the show, they try to make you think, oh, her daughter happened when Mariah found this rich doctor guy. She was trying to get out the project, so she married this guy to try to, get out of that lifestyle and, go into a new lifestyle, and that's where her daughter came from. Nope, turns out he was gay the whole time, and she was only dating him for his last name and to get away from that identity. And he was only with her so that his parents wouldn't be ashamed of him. And it was a good way and he was so ashamed of being gay that he was willing to take on the responsibilities of a daughter he knew wasn't his own, just so he can keep up appearances. The whole thing is a shit show. It's a shit show. This entire show is a shit show. Bushmaster, turns out the main villain, one of the main villains of the show, Bushmaster, is really only after Mariah, because her family not only killed most of his family, but his great, I think either grandfather or, I can't remember, I think it was his grandfather, had pretty much created Harlem's Paradise and the whole crime industry that the Stokes family even has. He helped make it with Mariah's great-great-grandfather. He helped create it. And then Mariah's grandfather tried to cheat him out and kill him. But they ended up killing each other. So there's this like history. And then, as you know, Mariah's her actual, I don't know, I can't remember if it's her aunt or grandmother, but her actual aunt / grandmother tried to not only killed Bushmaster's mother, burned her alive, but also tried to kill Bushmaster as a young boy just because he was blood relatives to like literally the Stokes family fucked over Bushmaster's family so hard, and it's like it's so bad. It's like she fucked him over so hard, and there were no like condolences. There was nothing. They just completely fucked them over because they just didn't want to admit to the truth of things. And it was like they were just terrible people. And then, Bushmaster came back for vengeance, and he has this righteous vengeance to him. He has this almost Punisher-like righteous rage, and you understand where a Bushmaster wants to murder wants to murder the Stokes. He really doesn't even want to cause damage to the city. It's been pointed out that he goes out of his way to not be in situations where there are innocent people. He goes out of his way to not, attack the wrong people. The people he kills, every person he kills, generally speaking, is a bad person, is a criminal, is someone working for Mariah. He doesn't kill. He's just so obsessed with it. And Luke can't let him kill her, because if Luke doesn't try to stop it, then it's almost the equivalent of basically helping commit the murder if you could have stopped it, prevent it from happening. And then you got this thing between Luke and Mariah where it ends up culminating in this Godfather-like ending. Actually, one of the last shots of Luke Cage season 2 is straight out of The Godfather. If you can recall, there's a shot in The Godfather when Al Capone's when Al Capone's character, I can't remember his name. It's been a long time since I've seen The Godfather. When Corleone finally accepts his spot as the head of the family. And there's a shot of the door slowly closing and his wife looking in as if this is the end. Who he is now is a totally different person. This is different. Same shot. See, Misty's looking in while one of his dudes slowly closing the door. Because in the end, not only does Mariah die in the end, she dies. She's killed by her own daughter in prison. Not only does she die in the end, but she leaves the club and most of all her shit to Luke. Because she thinks that Luke, the power, the ability, having all that kind of power, the rich, the money, the club, will become intoxicating to Luke and will change Luke. And actually, the producer / writer actually said that he was inspired to do this ending where Luke sort of becomes a bad guy. He sort of becomes the new head of crime in Harlem. But in his mind, he's became the head of crime so they can keep crime out of Harlem. He keeps drugs off the streets, guns off the streets, everything around Harlem. None of that shit gets inside Harlem, but he's still the head of crime in Harlem. So in his mind, the only way I can stop crime is if I completely take it over entirely. And the director / writer also said that, he was inspired by the Shadowland comic. And if you wonder what the Shadowland comic is, it's a really fun comic book with Daredevil. When Daredevil takes over the League of Assassins, not the League of Assassins, shit. The Hand and the League of Assassins, basically the same thing. When Daredevil takes over the Hand. And needless to say, you think, Daredevil, he just turned that down. But he takes it as an opportunity to rid crime out of New York entirely. And he basically wages war on crime in New York, and he becomes violent, and he becomes this bloodthirsty guy who's just killing all these criminals. Then all these, heroes in New York, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, all these guys have to, there's a couple others, have to band together to try to, snap him out of it. Because they're like, dude, we understand you're trying to do the right thing. You have these well intentions, but you're going too far. And I got a feeling that's exactly what they're going to do with Luke Cage. They're going to do something where it's like, Luke, you're going too far. Where Luke, we know you're trying to do the right thing. Because it's clear that Luke wants to do the right thing. But that kind of power is intoxicating. And that's literally what Mariah was preying on. Her last literally dying. She died in Luke Cage's arms in the prison after she was poisoned. She just happens to die in Luke's arms and stares up at him and says, me and you aren't finished yet. I'm not finished with you yet. And I was like, man, what the fuck does that even mean? At the time, I was like, yes, you are. You're dying, but I see it. That's a deep and complicated thing going on between a villain and a hero. Is that this villain's like, look, I don't care if I die. I'm going to still be a part of you because I'm going to thrust all this shit at your doorstep so hard and I'm going to make you become me. I'm going to make you become me. And by the time you realize it's going to be too late and you're going to be me and I'm still going to be there. Except I don't have to be alive to be there. You are me. I've never seen... That ending caught me off guard. It literally ended with this haunting dialogue from Luke's father early on. Unfortunately, that actor who was playing Luke's father, who did a fantastic job, passed away. So we're not going to see him in season 3 whenever that comes out. I'm sure they're gonna play. I'm sure that they're gonna play it into the story, his death into the story, because he's a great actor. And like, I'm sitting here like, man, like it's shit. It's shit. It's terrible. I feel bad. I think his name's Reggie Cathy. I've seen him in thousands of things. He has a great deep voice. He played Franklin Richards in that crappy Fantastic Four movie. He has this great deep gravelly voice that just just makes you want to listen to him. But yeah, I think his name Reggie Cathy. But so rest in peace, Reggie Cathy did a fantastic job on this as Luke Cage's father. He had some great monologues, some great speeches, but one of his best speeches kind of come up in the end when he's like talking about how I believe that God gave you, because he's a preacher. His father's a preacher now, doing sermons, and he's like. And like one of the last things he said to Luke was, I believe God gave you this power for a reason, so that you can, do good with it. But with that kind of power comes a lot of pain. And what comes out of you when that pain is at its worst, when that pressure is at its worst, is what defines a man. And it was very haunting, and it was very, it was, it's sort of kind of great power comes great responsibility, but when you see where Luke ends with this suit on, this tailored suit, in the office that he's been busted in, trying to screw up Cottonmouth and Mariah and Shades, just to turn out that he's become almost that guy, it's pretty sad. Hell, even in the beginning, like I've said it in the other review, him and Claire have a falling out very early. Because he can't control his anger, because he's just so angry, he punches a wall. And Claire, in real fashion, honestly, I know this shit, in real fashion, like, she's like, I promised myself I would never be in a situation like this. I promised myself I would never be involved with a man ruled through anger. And I was like, you know what? That's some real shit right there. That's a real fucking woman right there. You get the fuck out. Okay, when the dude starts doing shit like that, you get the fuck out. You don't sit around. You don't pretend like, oh, I know him. He's okay. No, you get the fuck out. You get the fuck out. Give him some space. Give him a month or something. Maybe don't even come back. And that's what she did. She left in like episode 3 and didn't come back. Because, I didn't blame her. Like, I would have fucking got out of there too, man. If you're acting crazy, man, you leave, man. You leave. But, it was pretty sad. And then eventually Luke's friend from the barbershop with the glasses, I cannot remember his name on the top of my head. He plays chess all the time. He's always giving Luke some wise advice. He had to leave and take care of a daughter. He had to do a transplant for his daughter. So Luke was really on his own. It was just him and his irritating friend who sometimes had something funny to say. It was really just them two. And Misty, who was dealing with her own issues with her arm being missing and everyone kind of like giving her shit, or either people were giving her shit about her missing arm, or they were just walking around her like she was made of glass. So it was like either or, and she got annoyed with it very quickly. Then it turns out one of her old basketball buddies was on Basketball Buddies, is pretty much made it to being a cop too, and she just came in there, so like they kind of had barking off in the beginning for a while, but then eventually Misty got her robotic arm from Danny, and then when she was all pissed off about it, but first she went and visited Colleen. So Colleen makes an appearance for an episode. They have like this funny like exchange where Misty's kind of feeling sad for herself, but Colleen's basically telling her, "Look, girl, no one's gonna feel sad for you. No one cares about your missing arm. No one cares about it, and you shouldn't either. Get the fuck up and fight. Do you feel like you're half a person? Because that's what matters. How do you feel about it?" And like, it's kind of crazy that the Netflix shows kind of hammer home the whole people with disabilities things. The whole idea of people with mental disorders and missing limbs and missing things, like Daredevil and Defenders, when he told that kid that things are only going to get harder from here on out, but you just have to fight for it. Don't do things just because people tell you to. You have to find your own way. And that's kind of what Colleen was telling Misty. Look, you gotta find your own way. Then they go to that bar and get in that bar fight. You can look that up online right now. Actually, Netflix posted it up like a few weeks before the season came out. And it's a badass bar fight. Like at first Colleen wasn't even gonna get involved because she was like, "Figure it out, Misty. You're not. She's just like, you're only sad. You're only defenseless. You're only helpless if you believe you are. Are you?" And then Misty got up and started fucking those dudes up with one hand, but then it got a little heated, so then they both start fucking them up, and you got some Daughter of the Dragon action. They Daughter of the Dragon it so hard, to the point where they're both wearing the exact color scheme that Colleen and Misty does in the comics as the Daughter of the Dragons. I was just like, yep. But eventually she gets her whole robotic arm, and it takes her a while to get used to it, but she gets it. And you could sort of kind of tell that it's the actor's arm inside of it, but I digress. You know, I can't give him too much crap for that. But yeah, she gets that robotic arm, and, you know, and things are better. But anywho, also, Iron Fist shows up, and my lord, did I geek out hard. First of all, they did their patented, like, that move where they literally just fist punch, because they're so powerful. They're so powerful. When they fist bump, that shit can blow up a room. In fact, in a fight sequence with those two, they did fist pump, and it blew up a room. Just shockwave. It was like a bomb went off in that motherfucker. It was badass. Oh man, seeing Iron Fist and Luke Cage fighting together was amazing. Seeing their banter. And by the way, the actor who plays Danny Rand, getting better. He's getting better. He's finally starting to act like comic book Danny. Comic book Danny Rand's chill as fuck. Okay? You think the dude's on a constant state of high. You think that dude's on a constant state of smoking weed. Like, it's just natural. Like, because he's a monk. And apparently they smoke weed over in Kunlun too, by the way. Apparently Kunlun got the best weed in the world. But, yeah, man. Like, Danny's finally acting like that. Because that's how Danny is. In the comics, Luke's the one who's, like, serious and like, man, we gotta take this shit serious. And Danny's the one like, it's alright, man. We can just, you know, we can be calm. Just, like, let's center our chi. And Luke's like, Danny, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, that's how they are in the comics. In the comics, Danny's the calm and cool and chilled out, fuck out one. And Luke's the one who's like, hey, man, what the fuck? He's kind of the Murtaugh. He's kind of Murtaugh about it. Just, like, let's take this shit seriously, okay? Like, and that's how they are, and that's how they were in this, and it was beautiful. I love that little dialogue between, man, you really didn't kill a dragon. Keep it real with me. You didn't kill no damn dragon. Oh, they had some great stuff. Iron Fist, like as someone already said it, but just cancel Luke Cage and cancel Iron Fist and just let you do Power Man, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. That'd be great. I'd be just good with that. I would be, honestly. But yeah, that was great. There's some awesome action sequences. Other than the one with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, there's a great fight. Luke Cage and Bushmaster have 3 head-up, great fight sequences. They have one sequence where they fight together in this like warehouse against like this other like drug guy, and it's badass. Like, man, you realize just how badass Bushmaster really is. This show is very violent. It's very violent. It's very violent, it's very gritty, it's very real. All the characters are constantly moving, all the characters are constantly changing. But the violence just ramps up because Mariah slowly becomes more and more unstable as the show goes on. As the show goes on, she becomes more and more unstable, and Shades becomes more and more human. It's weird how they did that. Like, Shades starts off as Shades. Just calm, cool, collected, get business done, I do what I need to do. I do everything I need to do. I look out. I got a good head on my shoulders. Dude, I've been in this game too long. Shades. That's Shades. That's why he wears he wears them shades all the time. Calm, cool, collect. He can't tell what's going on behind his eyes. But slowly, and if you notice it while you're watching the show, Shades starts to wear his shades less. The more the show goes on, the less he starts to wear them. To by the end, he doesn't even wear his shades anymore. He doesn't even wear him anymore. He's more emotional. He's more, he's screwed. He's more screwed up. Like when it turns out that his friend Comanche was the one who he used to be lovers with in prison. When it turns out his friend Comanche was a narc for the police, and he found out about it, he could have easily have shot Comanche in a way that would have made it seem like because what ended up happening is he found out about it. Comanche shot the cop who he was narking to, so that he can kind of make up for it. Comanche knew about, Shades knew about it, so like he was like trying to set the scene up to look like the cop had shot Comanche. But the way he did it, it was working. But he got emotional. He couldn't watch his friend suffer, so he shot him in the chest, which was the dead giveaway, which was the actual dead giveaway that what was it? Misty said it. A man bleeding for his life could not have gotten off that good of a shot. But that was that good of a shot to the chest like that. Now the way he shot him at first was just like right in the lower area. You know, it was one of those like it's one of those like intestine one of those shots where like maybe if you got to the doctor fast enough, you know, you could get saved. But like he was in the middle of nowhere and there was no cameras in the area, so no one would have fucking knew about that shit. It'd have been a while before anyone got there, so he would have bled out slowly and painfully. And Shades couldn't watch it, so he shot him in the chest because he didn't want to watch his brother die. And it was sad, and literally, Shades even nurks out on Mariah, like something that you think he would never do. He turns on Mariah because he's just so emotional and he's so messed up. Because Mariah, at one point, when she finds after Bushmaster kidnaps her and her daughter and tries to burn them alive, a lot like her grandmother. I can't remember what the fuck she is to her. A lot like her grandmother tried to burn Bushmaster's mom alive. He tried to do the same to Mariah and her daughter. Luke came in, saved him. But Mariah took that shit to heart. Not only did she, and like, there was a Jamaican restaurant that Bushmaster would go to with all his family in there. That's the most interesting thing about Bushmaster. He has a family. Like actual normal family. Like, just extended family. Like, you know how that is. Like, you have this family that you just see and everyone knows you, everyone loves you. It's funny. You forget that he's this almost obsessive rabid dog because he's around these people, these innocent people. Most of these people have nothing to do with what he's doing other than his uncle Anansi. And his uncle Anansi keeps telling him not to do this shit. He keeps telling him to let the past die. We have to make better for ourselves now that we're here. And like, the entire show is about letting the past die, letting the past go, letting go of things that, you know, fucked you over later in life. And by the end of the show, most of the characters have sort of moved past their past. But at the beginning, the whole show is about letting go of the past. But Bushmaster couldn't. He couldn't. He kept pushing. And eventually, Mariah found out where his family was. They came in there with Shades, Mariah, and all of them came in there. This character named Sugar, he didn't want to do it. He said it felt wrong. Like, these people are innocent. And he didn't do it. Mariah slaughtered his entire family. All these innocent people had shit to do with what he's doing. Slaughtered all of them and then burned his uncle Anansi alive. Shades was shook. The look on Shades' face, he was just like, what the fuck? We didn't come here for this. We didn't come here for this. We were going to just hold him hostage and draw him out. We weren't going to kill all these people. Mariah, what's wrong with you? And she's just slowly becoming, it's like she's slowly becoming this demonic person while Shades is becoming this human person. Like, it's like emotions, like, it's like he didn't know how to deal with that shit, man. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. I mean, Mariah was just a terrible person, dude. Like, she has to be on the top 10, like, not worst villains as in actual bad quality villain. Worst villain as in just despicable, man. She is just despicable. What kind of person tells her daughter, like, first of all, if your daughter is born of incest and a rape incest, you don't tell her that. Second of all, if you do tell her that, you don't tell her that I can't love you, that I hate you, that every time I see your face, I think about Pete, my uncle, coming into my room and raping me. I think about that every time I see your face, and that's why I hate you. Like, man, how was a daughter supposed to take that, man? I was like, jeez. And then near the end, she started to kind of go, you know what? I don't see Pete anymore. I see me, you know. I'm gonna move past that. You know. But her daughter couldn't, and she killed her. It was nuts, man. Like, this whole thing is some Godfather, like, you know, shit going on, man. And by the end of the season, Luke becomes a kingpin. He puts a lockbox around Harlem. He kicks out all the Italians and stuff, except there's one chick. Well, she's out, but like she's fun. Man, Luke Cage, man, this season keeps finding a bunch of older bad bitches. Like, you know what I mean? Like these older, like Alfre Woodard and like there's a couple like these women who are like they're up there in their age. But damn, man, like when they want to, man, you just be like, oh, okay. Because there's this later on. I can't remember if she's Italian or not. When he comes to her and tells her like, you know, don't come to Harlem anymore, and she was just like, oh, and she was like, well, how much would I have to pay to get a key into Harlem? He's like, you can't buy me. And she was like, well, you can't say that, sugar, because you don't know what your price is yet. And then she kind of said that coffee line, which, by the way, if you thought that coffee line in the first one, okay, for you people who don't know, in the first season of Luke Cage, there was this line about coffee. Let's go get a cup of coffee. First time you hear is when he fucks Misty. When they're like, let's go get a cup of coffee, and he's like, I don't drink coffee. That's okay. And then they go, fuck. It comes up multiple times, and it becomes this kind of like running joke that even like only people who watch Luke Cage would know what that means. You know, go get a cup of coffee. I don't like coffee. That's okay. Like, it's kind of like Netflix and chill. How you get to be like, oh, let's go watch Netflix and chill when you have no intention of actually just watching Netflix and chill. It's like, go get a cup of coffee. You have no intentions of getting a cup of coffee. You want to fuck, but you don't want to be, you know. It's a fun way of going about saying let's go fuck without being so, you know, direct about it. So, but they use that line 15 times. It comes up a bunch of times. And it came up again with that lady. I was like, damn, look, I mean, she ain't that bad. And I was like, man, Luke probably gonna end up smashing that because he's single now. Gotta start building up that morale. But, yeah, like, I don't know, man. This season, it ended on one of those, on one of the best cliffhanger, not cliffhangers, it had one of the best endings I've seen in a television show for a while, because it ended in a way that made you just salivate for a third season. Salivate. You're like, oh my god, Luke is the kingpin of Harlem. How did he go from the savior of Harlem to the kingpin of Harlem? But he became the kingpin of Harlem for the right reasons. He's almost Wilson Fisk. He's totally Wilson Fisk now. He's just justifying and taking over everything. He's doing a Wilson Fisk. It just occurred to me right now. He's literally become Wilson Fisk. It's going to be gnarly. I don't know how they're going to go about this. I hope I don't have to wait all the way until Luke Cage Season 3 for someone to talk about this. Because someone has to address that Harlem is being run by this powerful man. Like, how do you not address that? You know, how does no one not come to him and talk to him about it? Maybe that'll be Defender Season 2. Is everyone like maybe screw it. Don't make a Luke Cage Season 3. Maybe Defender Season 2 will be all the Defenders plus whoever coming together to try to fucking smack Luke out of his senses, back into his senses. Because that's all I can think about. It's nuts, man. How this show ends is really good. By the way, just to throw out some stuff, the music was great. King's Paradise by Rakim at the end was a pretty cool song. I thought it was a good song. There's a bunch of great musicians in here. There's a bunch of great play on the Bible. You know, it's a bunch of great you know, philosophical things. It's kind of a Daredevil. It's kind of a Netflix special. Is the Bible. Other than that, Luke Cage Season 3 get bumped up to a 9 to me. I thought it was great. I thought it was probably, you know what? It's probably the best well-balanced show since Daredevil Season 1. It probably is. It's probably the best well-balanced show since Daredevil Season 1. I can't wait for whatever Luke Cage does next. And Misty's going to show up, and Misty's going to be a regular on... she's either going to show up or be a regular in Iron Fist, which is going to be great. I'm so sad because I was like, oh man, Luke and Iron Fist. Maybe he's going to show up in that too. But yeah, and there's these funny bits with ESPN that you might can look up, like Stephen A. Smith and Jamila Hill and stuff. But other than that, I gave Luke Cage Season 3 a 9. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a great ride. It was definitely worth the wait. I'm probably going to watch it over again. I've only watched it once, so I'm probably going to watch it over again. Like I usually do. I will usually watch these Netflix shows at least twice. I've seen Jessica Jones Season 1 twice. I've seen Daredevil Season 1 maybe three times. I mean, it came out in 2015. I've seen it 3 times over the course of that long. I've seen Daredevil Season 2 about 3 times, and I've seen Punisher twice. I've seen Luke Cage Season 1 twice. I've seen Iron Fist once. So I might watch this over again because this is a well-balanced show. It really was. So thank you for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. What did you think of Luke Cage Season 2? Did you like it better than Luke Cage Season 1? Or was missing Cottonmouth really bothersome to you? What do you think Luke is going now? What do you think Luke's mind is right now at the end? Because it can go either way. Honestly, it's a fascinating discussion of what can make you a criminal, what can make you a villain. So thank you for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. Please comment below your opinions on the show and on the actual show, Luke Cage Season 2. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.